welcome guys. I'm Maile Scarpino, I'm your host. This is the Empower Hour, and this episode is called Silly Stereotypes and Women of Today. I'm here with Samantha Green, budding psychologist, I'm the budding psychologist, photographer, and my best friend. I should know what she is, that's horrible. So today we're just gonna be talking about stereotypes. Sam and I work together. And so we have a lot of conversations just about women and about, how to change the atmosphere of how women are viewed and make women feel more comfortable, because we do get a lot of women in retail that are kind of uncomfortable about their bodies or not happy with where they are, and just, how do you inspire them and how do we change these stereotypes as a population so that as women we can just be who we are and do what we want to do. So why don't you take it away, Samantha? Tell us your whole story. Where'd you come from?
Story.
Yeah, tell us your background.
Well, I'm originally from New Jersey, and so I grew up there, and then I decided to go to school in Florida. I went to University of Central Florida for photography, and I loved it there. It was an amazing school. It was really impactful for me going there. I met amazing people who really changed my life, and who influenced me to be a better person.
Changed your life in what way?
They're just really positive influences, and they have strong beliefs, and they want to change the world and do amazing things, and they're going to. So just being surrounded by those people, it really inspires me to be a better person.
And this is why she's my best friend, because she always makes me so excited about making new goals and doing new things, because it's not if you do it, it's when you do it. It's what she always says. And what did you just do recently?
What did I do recently?
You signed up for?
Oh, I signed up for my yoga teacher training, which is something that I never thought, it was like a goal I would have had later on down in the road, but I did it, and it's present, it's now, it's
exciting.
It's real life, So
then, tell us more about photography. How'd you get into photography?
Photography was kind of an outlet creatively that I needed, just because I'm a very introverted person, but I love being around people. So it was something that I could creatively express myself, and I got into it in high school, and I really stuck with it. It's something that I love, and it was like a passion of mine, and I decided that I wanted to turn it into my career. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
And how important do you think it is for all girls to find something in high school to be passionate about, or do you think that's an important thing in shaping your identity, or what do you think about that?
It is, and I think the earlier you get started on being passionate about something, the better off you are, because you really get grounded and you're familiar with yourself, and influences are really important, and I kind of wasn't sure. I would go back and forth, and I would get really discouraged, and then I would feel empowered again, and I would be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a photographer, and I can't just let people tell me not to do it, because it's not going to go anywhere. I had to really be grounded in myself.
Do you want to talk about that more, people influencing you or kind of stereotyping you into what they thought you could do?
Well, yeah, stereotypes are a huge thing in daily life for women, for anyone really, and it's kind of that thought that people don't really have the self-motivation, and they get discouraged by other people's thoughts, and you really have to not let the noise get in your head, and you just have to focus on what really matters is you and your goals and dreams.
And how do you do that? Because I know for me and you, that's something that we've learned, but for other people out there, or especially young girls coming up, my sister, she's 12, and she's going through that awkward stage right now of, trying to find her thing, and she thinks it's dancing. She won't play volleyball because I did it, and she doesn't want to be compared to me. She, can't do acting because my littlest sister is doing that, so she's trying to find that.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is you have to find your own voice and something that's going to make you unique, because I also have older siblings, and I was always struggling with I don't want to be them. I want to be my own self and have my own stuff going on that makes me who I am, and I also want to succeed and do my own thing, and I guess that really depends on your influences and people around you.
And do you want to talk about that too? Because I know it's something that kind of went into stereotypes and just something you wanted to talk about today as well.
It is. I mean, influences start off with you as a person. So you being your best self will influence others to be their best selves. And I know when I was young, or a few years ago, I was babysitting for a little girl, and she really was influenced by me, and it was really empowering to see that and how much of a change like I had in her life. And I think she today is a different person than she was, obviously, but just starting off with yourself and being the best you can towards others is really influential.
I love it. Just like I love you. So do you want to tell us more about your photography too? Because I know you've traveled a lot, right?
Yes.
And so you've met like a bunch of different people too. And just what has that taught you about life and yourself and going into, again, stereotypes? Because of course when you meet different people, they stereotype you in different ways.
Yeah, and I mean, through my travels, I've learned that so many people are similar but yet different, and it's like accepting those differences and really embracing them is what makes you like a better person and an understanding person, and you can really get to know someone's culture and just them on a deeper level. And then through my photography, I try to be really ambiguous and like artistic with it, and I love finding like deeper meanings that you really have to figure out. And yeah.
What do you mean deeper meanings?
So just like something that you could look at and you wouldn't really know what it meant until I explained it to you, or you take it on as something else.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you know. But I also like doing, I don't know, all sorts of photography. I do wedding photography, I do product photography, just anything.
Yeah, she shoots our PN at the store, so she takes a lot of pictures of cute girls and clothes. No. So, in the stereotypes, I know I keep saying stereotypes a lot. It's bothering me that I keep saying it so many times. But anyways, that's the topic of today. So, I know for me personally, I see this struggle for women because of A, what we're supposed to look like, and B, how we're supposed to act, and then C, you get this interplay of being a mom, or, you know, being a caretaker, and then also having a career. How do you do that? How do you juggle that? I mean, like, historically, the reason why women stayed at home or were caretakers is because, you know, men would go off to fight. Like, if you look at tribes or Native American tribes or whatever, like, the men would go off to fight. You can lose a lot of men, and as long as you have women and maybe like one man, you can repopulate, and so that's okay. That's why women didn't go out and fight. They stayed home. But that's not like the current situation today, and yet we still live in this box where women are supposed to stay at home and cook and clean and take care of the kids. And you see this new generation coming out and kind of going, no.
Yeah.
We want to work. Women want to work. We want to have a voice. We want to be able to make changes and do what we want to do. And so I just wanted to see like what you thought about that.
Well, it is really hard to break stereotypes for women. For staying at home, and I think there's like a huge challenge for women because they want to have this family and they want to be good parents, but at the same time they want to have their own life and they want to be able to feel empowered in what they do and not just feel meaningless. So it's hard. It really is hard. But I think women now are doing it a lot better than they ever have. And like a generation or two ago, they would have been completely different. You know, they would have been staying at home. They would have just been taking care of their family. They would have just sacrificed everything for a relationship, which is really sad. But now I think it's changing slowly, and it's really empowering to see that.
I know, I think, for me it's I look at it from like a psychological point of view. and I see the struggle for women wanting to have a career and then also wanting to stay home and have children, and how do you do that, and can you do that? Some people do. I personally don't think it's the best idea. I think growing up or being a child, you need somebody there to watch over you and take care of you and help you. I think a lot of pathology, and I'm no expert in this, but this is just like my idea and the research that I've done and the things that I've seen. Children, it's very easy to build coping mechanisms that aren't going to help you later on in life, or to have your foundation be disrupted when you don't have a stable household, or you don't have two parents there to take care of you, or like just a mom there to watch and support you. I really think that can cause later issues down the road, especially in regards to self-esteem. So for me, I always struggle with that. Is it okay to bring something into the world and want it to be the best that it can be, but then not necessarily be able to be with it every day? Because as a working mom, you can't do that. You have to go to work.
Well, I think you also, as a mother, have to realize that your child is going to be influenced by other people, and you have to not have some control, but like understand that and put those positive influences around them, and like put them in situations where they're not going to have like the bully friend who's going to make them feel horrible, or you have to have some kind of way to teach your children like that's not okay.
And if you were a mom, like how would you do that? Because you will be a mom one day.
I mean, I would start off with having my husband or significant other have a large part in their life, because I think it's really important to have an equal balance of men and women involved in a child's life, because when they don't, they have like mommy or daddy issues, and it affects them greatly down the road. And then just having them involved in sports or things that they're interested in, so that way they're involved with other people, they're involved with other children, they learn how to interact in society. And that's really important, because that plays a whole role in like the community aspect. Like children should learn community, because that makes them feel whole. It makes them feel like they're part of something bigger. And I think that's what we're kind of missing in society, is we're missing like the community aspect. We're so like for ourselves that we miss that. And that's why I love working for Lululemon, because like it's so community based. Yeah.
I think that's like such a powerful statement that you made, that we are missing that, because you see, I was thinking of my sister, and my sister is on her phone all the time, 24/7. She's 12, constantly reading, like texting, and it's just like, how do you make connections with people, and how do you grow and prosper and become the best you when you're not connecting with other people?
But see, she's trying to, is the sad part. Like, she wants to be part of a community, and she's looking for that internet, or like the texting, or like the non-face-to-face community, which is what like community has turned into. But it's much more impactful when you're in the moment and you're being present and you're being around real people face to face. It's so different.
And that's something Samantha and I have been concentrating on for December, and a bunch
being
of our other friends, so we want to pass it on to you. Being present, like, what does that mean to you? Be present for your friends, your family. Be present for the person behind you in line, pay it forward, maybe buy them a coffee. It's December, it's the time of giving. We're really lucky to be here, and I'm so grateful for everything, even struggles and hardships. Like, I'm happy for them. I learn, I prosper. I know we're young and we still have a lot to learn, but from our experiences, I feel like we can definitely help other people.
And I've learned the most from hardships, I think. Like, really struggling has made me into the person who I am, and I really appreciate every single, like, turn, or, like, I don't know, everything. I appreciate it because it's made me into who I am.
And I know for me, like, this was a great topic for us, because I feel like a lot of the things I went through did come from stereotypes. So, like, going to Ilani and being one of the only white girls, there weren't that many of us, like, Howley girls. you know. So it was difficult feeling the stereotype of, you know, what it was. I grew up in Houston. I was born in Houston, and there's so many, I had, you know, a mix of different races of friends, and I never saw color. I didn't know what it was, and I went to Ilani, and I was just kind of like, whoa, like I'm white, that makes a difference. So I mean, that's a stereotype that I struggled with.
Yeah.
And it definitely shapes how you act and how you behave, and I'm just hoping that we can get to a place where nobody's put into a box. Like, it's so ridiculous. Nobody needs to be put into a box. And like we were talking about earlier, like
judgment.
Yeah, judgment. Yeah. You want to talk about that? Like,
I mean, yeah, that has a lot to do with people's self-worth. And if you judge someone, they're going to feel horrible, and that creates stereotypes because you're judging them for something that they might not even be.
And this is key. This is something my mom always told me. I remember I came home one day from school and I was crying, and I was like, I'm getting picked on, or something like that. You know, something happens to every like young girl. And my mom looks at me and she grabbed me by the shoulders and she goes, Miley, you're never going to be thin enough. You're never going to be pretty enough. Your eyebrows are going to be funny. Your hair is going to be too dark. There's always going to be something the matter. With you, depending on who you talk to. So stop worrying what everybody else thinks and just be the best you that you can be. And I was like, oh, okay. Like,
and that's something that my mom always like stressed on me, is like to be unique and to be my own person. And it took me a really long time to figure that out. But once I did, I felt so much better about myself, you know, because then you're not worried about, oh, what does this person think? Or like, you're just happy with yourself and you're happy with who you are on the inside.
How did you do it? Like, how did you get comfortable with yourself?
I guess like for so many people not being comfortable with me, or not like with me, but just hearing everyone judge each other. And I just had that realization from the outside that like, that's the only way to be happy, is if you're okay with yourself.
And if you're not okay with yourself, what do you do?
Then who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. What does it matter if you're, I don't know. If it only matters to you if you're okay with yourself, because that only affects you.
Do you think there's like a method? Like, if you were talking to young girls right now, like pretend that everybody in the audience is a young middle schooler. What's up, guys? What would you like tell them? Like, how are you happy with yourself? Because I struggle with this with my sister all the time, because she's super smart, like nerdy smart. Like, I think she'll be the next president. It's ridiculous. I say it was my doing because I dropped her on her head when she was little by accident, and I think it activated like some part of her brain, and now she's like super like brainy smart. But I don't know. Like, I don't know how to go about telling her to be comfortable in her skin, because like I know how hard it is. Like, being stereotyped as, oh, you're like the smart one, so you can't be athletic, you can't do this and that. And she buys into it. And I always have to tell her, like, Mia, you can be whatever you want to be. Stop listening to what everybody else says. But it doesn't necessarily click when somebody else is telling you that. So like, do you have any recommendations?
Well, I think a lot of it is learning for yourself. And they just have to experience it and do it. And the best thing that you can do is be the best influence on them. And I think you're already doing that. You're showing them by example. Instead, like, you're healthy, you do a bunch of things, and it shows her that, you know what, my sister can do this, and I can too. And like, you're smart, you've done so much in your life, and like, that really, it starts with you, and it starts with like what you do, and that's all. That's all you can do, is lead by example.
Well, awesome. We're going to go to commercial, guys. We have a bunch of pictures for you that Samantha took. Yay! So this is the Empower Hour. I'm Maile Scarpino, and I'm here with Samantha Green, budding photographer and my best friend. And we'll see you in a second. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jay Fidel. I'm host of Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. Indeed, we want to make Hawaii the state of clean energy. We talk every Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. with people from the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum and guests from every corner of the energy community. We want to make energy the most important thing. It is the most important thing in the state, and we want to make everyone aware of what's going on in clean energy in Hawaii. Come and see us, 4 to 5 p.m. on Wednesday. I'm Jay Fidel. Thanks. I'll see you there.
Hi, my name is Seymour Kazimirski. I have a show called Seymour's World on ThinkTech Hawaii. Our show is about opening minds and facilitating conversations. To tell you the truth, I have no idea what we're going to be talking about. I have no idea who our guests are going to be, but I guarantee you we're going to have lots and lots of fun. Aloha from Seymour's World.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Empower Hour. I'm Maile Scarpino. I'm here with Samantha Green, my best friend, and an awesome photographer. You guys are going to see some of her pictures while we're talking. So we're going to get back to discussing about stereotypes. I think we see a lot of stereotypes coming out of social media and out of people that are celebrities and stars. And I know Samantha and I were talking about that earlier and how it really does influence our current generation and what we think we're supposed to look like, which is ridiculous. I even find myself buying into it some days. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I should look like this. And then I'm like, what the heck am I talking about?
Yeah.
I don't need to do that. I'm me, so.
And it is really sad seeing all these celebrities who are gorgeous and who just don't feel good about themselves because of what other people think, and that it just goes back to being self-aware and just self-empowered and like feeling okay, having that self-worth and knowing that you're gorgeous from the inside out instead of the outside in.
Let's talk about that for a second, because like, how do you gain self-worth? How do you think that comes about?
It's kind of a mental process that you have to go through yourself, and you really have to build up on your own by yourself.
I guess this comes kind of back into like parenting too, huh?
It does.
Because if you don't have strong parenting and you're not brought up in a society where you're supported and where your idea about yourself is supported, then you're not really going to be able to have that self-worth.
Yeah. And if you have people who are influencing you who don't feel good about themselves, then that's going to directly affect you, and it's going to make you think, oh, they're not okay with themselves, so how can I be okay with myself? And it's just crazy to see that in the media and like the news and everything. It's just, you see it in our society, and I guess we have to start small and like start with yourself, and then it spreads to other people. But it's just sad to see, like, even Britney Spears, she got like a nose job, or like, I don't know, like all these celebrities, they changed their entire look, and it's just, you can tell that they're not happy with themselves inside. And it's just so sad because they're beautiful people, and I'm sure they're gorgeous from the inside and the outside as well, and they have such talent, and they don't feel that. And it's just like this void that they're trying to fill. And it's so sad.
What kind of void? You sound like a psychologist right now.
Goodness.
Come into my field. What kind of void?
What kind of void? Well, just a void that they want to fill with something like maybe love or community, or just feeling worthwhile, having that self-worth and feeling like you're going to make a difference, and having faith that you can do something. And people get so discouraged over words, and they shouldn't. They really need to learn how to have a thicker skin and learn that you can only rely on yourself. And like, once you do that, you can really become anything. And it's just all in your head. Like, you tell yourself these stories that you can't do anything, or you can't do this or that. And I think once you start telling yourself you can do it, you can achieve anything.
So it's kind of like last week, Dr. Bito was here and we were talking about creating your own reality, and it's kind of that same idea. It's crazy how everything just kind of leads into one another when I start talking like to different people and seeing what they think. I guess like attracts like, which that was actually another episode that I did with Keith. He's talking about how like attracts like, but it really does interplay. What you think, you create, and what you create, you're able to act on.
Yeah.
So there's something else I was going to ask you, because you were talking about judgment, or what did you say?
Goals. Well, goals have a lot to do with what we were just talking about as well, because It's all a mental process, and if you think you can achieve something and if you set that goal, then you'll be able to achieve it. But if you're constantly saying like, oh, I don't know, I don't even know what type of goal I want, or if you're not sure, it's going to be so much harder to achieve something that you're not positive about. So it's good to set these goals, and it can change down the line, but obviously if you set something, it's going to be reinforced by your subconscious, and then you can, like, subconsciously you're working towards it, and it's going to work out so much better for you.
So, what are goals of yours where you've done this?
Goals of mine, well, teacher training. So that was something I never thought would happen as quickly as it did, and it's something I've always wanted to do. And it was funny because someone influenced me to sign up for it so quickly, and that I was so appreciative about, because she was like, oh, I'm thinking about doing it, and she really influenced me to sign up immediately and be present and make it real and make it happen. So that's why I say, like, influences are really important, because if I didn't have that person telling me that, then I might just be like, oh, I'll put it off, I'll do it later on down on the road. And it really pushed me to achieve one of my goals.
Do you think your photography was influenced by your goals?
Definitely, and I'm trying to start a website, so make it more official. And I've been looking into creating an LLC and doing all the backhand stuff, you know.
Ooh, and we actually have some of your pictures that are gonna show up here in a second. So if you want to, like, tell us maybe about just like a little recap of like what's going on.
So these are for Lululemon. So we are doing product photography shoots. And this is awesome too, because this is one of the local ballet instructors. Her name's Aya, and she works for Honolulu Classical Ballet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was amazing because I get to meet these people who have such an influence on our community, and I get to talk with them, and it's just empowering to see them
making their dreams and their goals come true.
Dreams, and like following what they want to do, and it's really inspiring.
You inspire me.
Oh, thank you.
So let's talk about how this all plays in, or like, first let's talk about how this all like is creating barriers. Like, what are the barriers that occur because of judgments and stereotypes and our inability to set goals and just not knowing ourselves?
Well, the barriers, I feel like, are all mental, honestly. I mean, there might be some barriers that you can't do it because of money or whatever, but honestly, if you really want something, you're not going to let those barriers stop you.
But say you're a child from like a low SES, like social economic status, and your mom works full time and you really didn't have a very good upbringing. How are you to get out of like those judgments? Like, let's take a little girl who her mom works full time, and she's told at school that, you know, she's not gonna amount to anything, she's not good in math, you know. And how does she change that? How does she change that mindset, especially when she doesn't have any support at home? Like, what do you recommend to somebody like that?
Well, it's really hard, but you have to constantly be fighting, and nothing is easy. Like, it's always going to be a struggle getting to what you want. And I've had a lot of friends who are in that situation, who grew up in a horrible background, and they just, I guess, the will and having faith that it's going to be okay, having faith that you can succeed, just not thinking badly about yourself and having that self-worth and like that background, and really just believing.
And so how did believing in yourself get you to where you are? Because you traveled, you went from New Jersey to Florida, and then you came here, and in between that you had a bunch of different...
Well, I mean, each time I move, it's a huge struggle, because I feel like it's uprooting everything. And when I moved from New Jersey to Florida, I had moved with a friend, and she ended up like just not being a reliable person, and she moved out, and I had to like pay all this rent. And I mean, luckily I had my family to support me, and if I didn't, I don't know what I would do. But just having people, or just having faith that it's going to work out, and like asking for help is a really big thing as well.
Asking for help's a really good one, and I'm really bad at that.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Well, it takes a lot of courage, because not everyone wants to ask for help.
I don't like to ask for help.
I hate asking for help, because I want to do everything on my own, and I don't
prove
wanna,
that you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I guess just like being humble and asking for help, and then not taking advantage of people, because so many people do that. They'll ask for help, and then they'll like never reciprocate, or they'll just take advantage of someone and not take care of them later on. And that's really sad. And then that's what causes trust issues with friends, and trust issues with people in general.
So how do you think this all pertains to the community too? Like the community here in Hawaii, or like how do we start changing this so we can see it mirror in society?
That's a really good question. I'm not sure. I don't have an answer. I think just being present in society, and being present like in the community, and showing that you want to have a
You do
role.
mirroring in your photography.
Huh?
You do mirroring in your photography.
Mirroring?
No, mirroring.
Oh, mirroring. Oh,
We're showing
I
some more
do.
pictures too. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't mean to cut
that's
you off.
okay. You're fine. And that's a yoga instructor who's really inspiring.
Who is that?
Kelty.
That's like a mirror right there.
She works at Power
Oh,
Yoga.
Kelty.
Yeah.
Ooh, these are cool. Aha, a progression.
Yes.
Okay, you want to keep talking about what you were saying before I cut you off?
Yeah, just having presence in the community. And I mean, I love volunteering. I volunteer at the Honolulu Museum of Art, and it's such a great place. They do amazing things, and just getting involved in something that you're passionate about. Like, I love art and I love photography, and that's what I follow. And if you do stuff that you aren't passionate about, then it kind of shows through your actions, and then it makes you look less reliable and less unique, and it makes you kind of look fake. You know, you're not.
We don't like that fakeness. We're going to take a short commercial break, guys. This is the Empower Hour. I'm your host, Maile Scarpino, and I'm here with Samantha Green, photographer, and my best friend, along with a bunch of other wonderful, extraordinary things. We will be right back.
Ted Ralston, folks, host of our show at ThinkTech Hawaii called Where the Road Leads, where we talk about technology influencing the future of Hawaii. Technology, of course, is the art of solving problems. We always bring in interesting and informed guests who can see from different perspectives and different points of view how that future might unfold and how technology can assist us in getting there. So once again, join us 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on Fridays. Ted Ralston, your host. And please, if you have ideas that you'd like us to address on this show, or folks who you think should be on it, let us know.
Welcome back, guys. This is the Empower Hour. We're talking about silly stereotypes in the women of today. So we're focusing more on what are the stereotypes and stigmas about women, and then we're also hitting things about relationships. Ooh, we need to talk more about that too. And judgments and goal setting, which we need to talk more about too, because we're experts in that. I'm here with Samantha Green, my best friend and photographer. And yeah.
So what do you want to talk about
We're
first?
going to talk about
Community?
Yeah, we'll finish how it's affecting the community. And then,
Okay.
yeah.
So we were talking about giving presence in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because a lot of stereotypes, I don't know if you notice this, but like with military and like local people, it's ridiculous. And it's so sad because I live like around a lot of local people.
You mean like the stereotypes between them, like them not getting along because
Yeah.
you're military and you're not local and I'm local?
Exactly.
Okay.
Or even just like haoles and
I totally
like
see that.
local people. It's really sad.
Dude, I have to
because-
talk local when I go, like, to Longs or something. I gotta be like, hey, auntie, you, like, ring me up. Or, like, I gotta, like, pretend, like, because if not, like, I do. I feel that's stereotype, too. So that's funny that you brought.
But honestly, it's a stereotype is, I feel like, all in the mind. You know, people are people, and if you're nice to someone, I feel like there's no reason you need to judge them, you know, and the stereotypes here are no different. Like, if you're going to make a relationship with someone, you have to start by being nice to them and, like, talking to them and understanding where they come from. And I mean, through my travels, I've also dealt with different cultures and the stereotypes between those cultures. It's just, you start off with understanding that they're a person and they're an equal, and that's really what it comes down to. And if you don't treat them with respect, then obviously they're gonna stereotype you. You know, they're gonna be like, oh, well, you're not
Oh,
a
I
certain
see what you
type
mean.
because
It's like you're being
white,
mean to
you
me,
know?
and you're being mean to me because you're da-da-da-da-da.
And it's all in someone's head. It's not because that person is a certain type of whatever.
Right, maybe that person's mom died that morning.
Yeah.
Or their cat got hit by a car.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. And I tell a lot of the clients that I work with, like, you know, you deal with something called countertransference and transference when you're doing therapy, or just when you're even interacting with people on a day-to-day basis. You know, they may have an emotion and they transfer it onto you, and then maybe you're feeling that anger or that fear or whatever, and then you transfer it back onto them. So I tell it to a lot of the clients that I work with all the time is, hey, like, you don't know what happened. You can't get mad or be upset at them because you really, until you, like, find out what's happening with that person. Like, maybe, yeah, they're treating you negatively, but then you just smile and you go, okay, that's fine. And you just go from there, because it's better to rise above it than mirror that person and equal it out. And, ooh, while I'm thinking about mirroring, should we show some more pictures?
Oh, no.
Pictures.
What pictures?
Oh, that's
this
me!
is Kylie.
Hi, that's
She
me.
modeled for me once,
I did.
and it was awesome.
That was
It
our
fun,
new-
fun picture.
Our new stuff that we had in. Oh, I liked that. That was
I
fun.
know. That was a fun shoot.
That was a fun shoot. Oh, and there's
This
Hannah.
was on a hike. We photographed Hannah.
Hannah, we call her Hannah Banana.
Hannah Banana.
Hannah's a very interesting young lady too. She joined the Peace Corps. I'll have to have her on. She
Yeah.
joined the Peace Corps and did a lot of empowering work there in Mali. Really helped a lot of people, helped a lot of women, and she talks about it all the time, and it's really cool. She even knows how to speak. I don't know what language it is, but she can speak a completely
The native
different
tongue.
language. It's awesome. So going back to how we change this in the community, if you were gonna set up, like, do you think that parents need to bring it up, or does the school bring it up, or do me and you just walk around saying, like,
be part of the community.
hey, stop making stereotypes? Like,
well, I mean, I think both parents and the school need to have a part, and I think schools do make a community setting, and they have a lot of, I guess, programs where you can be involved. And parents usually, for the most part, most of them, they influence children to be part of the community. And when you're younger, I feel like it's a lot easier. When you're older, you're kind of like set in work and you're doing your own thing and you have so much going on that it's harder to step back from that and realize, like, there's a bigger picture and that you need to be part of it. So I feel like it's a lot easier for children than adults.
okay, so then for young women that come in to into the store and you're helping them, and maybe they have, like, body images, or they're not happy with their life or what's going on, like, what do you say to them? I know I go into the dressing room and, like, they'll be like, oh, I don't like this part of my body, and I go, okay, well, let me show you it on me, and, like, I'll take whatever off. I'll be like, look, we're, like, the same, like, there's no, I mean, because I think sometimes you don't see what's really there, and you, like you said, you make things up in your mind, and we all have these ideas of you know, what things are supposed to look like or how it's supposed to be because of stereotypes. Like, the current stereotype right now is, like, women are supposed to be thin, and we're supposed to be, like, proportional, and our hair's supposed to be perfect, and you need, like, your makeup done. What else? That's very Southern, big hair and
Yeah.
makeup. That's my mom when I go home. If I'm lounging around, why isn't your makeup on your face? Or she'll just be like, yeah, she'll be
Oh
like,
my
you need to go get yourself together, Miley. You're a mess. And I'm like,
Wow.
no.
No.
Because it's you know, it's the way it
Southern
is.
culture,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a Southern culture thing. But so how do we change that? Or what do you say when they come in?
I don't know. I usually just tell them that they're gorgeous and they need to realize their uniqueness. And we wouldn't be who we are if we weren't unique in our own way. And you have to be aware of that.
And embrace it.
Embrace it, yeah. If you aren't comfortable with yourself, who are you going to be comfortable with?
Nobody.
You know? And even people who are perfect aren't comfortable with themselves. So it's really sad.
So it's that inner peace, finding that
Yeah.
inner peace and establishing that. And then kind of getting rid of judgment too, huh? Because they go hand in hand. If you didn't have the judgment, then you wouldn't really have these stereotypes or these things that you need to work through and get rid of.
Yeah.
So, wearing a
Another
mask.
Old photograph.
Just getting rid of judgment completely. I liked that
Wearing a
one.
mask.
Wearing a mask. Too many people wear masks these days, and we just need to be true to who we are. And or like even in bodybuilding and in weightlifting right now, like I feel like that's a new thing that's coming up, which I really like, is like being strong is the new cool
Is the new
thing.
skinny.
The new
Being strong
thing.
is the new skinny. That's what I
I'm
hear all the time.
Working on those buys. Hey, there's Dorian. Dorian's pretty tight. He's awesome. He's really, you want to meet somebody that's, I need to interview him too. He's very unique in that he definitely doesn't care what anybody thinks about him, talking about judgment and like stereotypes. He is not your traditional yogi at all. He will be like, what kind of downward dog, what are you doing? What kind of downward dog is that? Like, or he'll be like, he just is random. He'll swear during class sometimes, and it's just, I mean, it's like, it's awesome. It's cool to see
okay
somebody.
with himself.
Yeah, he's completely comfortable with himself, and he doesn't care what other people think, and you can come to his class and enjoy it, and if you don't, then you don't have to come.
Oh,
and
wow.
he's awesome.
And that's what people need to do more often. Like, you're not okay with it, then it doesn't affect you. Okay, it only affects me, so I'm okay with it, and that's all that matters.
And that's fine, and just move on. Yeah.
And people get so caught up in what other people think, and they're like, oh my gosh. They freak out, and they just need to brush it off.
But why is that? Like, why do we care what other people think in reality?
I have no idea.
Well, because I guess we, like, want to fit in or, like, yeah, why do we do that? Why do I care? I guess because if you want, like, friends, you need the other person to like you, and if they don't like you, then they're not going to be your friend. And it's never fun just being, like, the loner.
Yeah. But you can be, I feel like you can still be liked and not accepted.
Liked and not accepted? No.
Like, certain aspects cannot be accepted. Like, you don't have to like every single thing about someone to
That's true.
You know? So you can still be liked as a person and not have, like, features that people are, or anything. It could be anything. Like, an aspect or a characteristic that someone doesn't like.
Like bushy eyebrows. Just joking. That will be something we'll have to
You're
talk
being
more about.
judgmental.
I know,
right now.
I am. And that's something I need to work on too. I think everybody can work on that.
Yeah.
I think that's something we should work on like this December too, guys. Don't be judgmental. Try not to create judgments.
Why just December? Why not?
Okay, all the time, according to Samantha. So then also about relationships, because I know that's something that's important to you.
It is. So building good relationships, it's really, again, back to the influential part of your life. The people you surround yourself are what is going to reflect you. And so if you have poor relationships, then that's directly going to affect your life and like where you, or what you achieve.
And what you think about yourself, and then what you're able to do.
So having those positive relationships, having positive friendships, having a positive spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend is really important in what you think about yourself and what they think of you. Because if they don't think highly of you, then you're not going to think highly of yourself. And it's so sad because you see, again, back to self-worth, people don't have enough self-worth, that they think they like settle for something that's not good enough.
And
for
going
someone,
off of that, I have a lady that will be coming in at the end of January. Her name's Amanda, and she's a librarian at Le Jardin, and she has great stories about that, about finding her self-worth and getting out of the situation that she was in. And it was, I was like, I wanted to cry when she told me her story. I was really touched and empowered by her ability.
Yeah.
But sorry.
And I think we've all been there. We've all felt horrible about ourselves and put ourselves in situations we probably shouldn't have ever been in. And I mean, I've been in relationships where I shouldn't have ever stayed, and I did. And but also going through that made me into a stronger person, and it really made me realize, like, that's not what I want, and I'm better than that, and I deserve to be treated with respect, as does everyone. And that really influenced me.
Well, I'm so happy you came on the show today. We're going to close out. That's it. I learned a lot from you. We talked about relationships and judgment and stereotypes and goal setting and woo. So thank you so much for coming. This is the Empower Hour. I'm Maile Scarpino, your host, and this is Samantha Green, my best friend, photographer, and many other wonderful things. If you ever want to come sweat with us, we're always out in the community doing yoga, running around, hitting those goals. So until next Thursday, guys. Bye.